What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that has been requested to me a lot. People want to know, what is the expectation when you are owning or building a Fast and Furious car? There's a lot of misconception about owning such a car, and I really want to address that in today's video. If you'd like to see more about my Fast and Furious car collection, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I could do more videos about these cars, whether it's the Jetta or even the Maxima that I'm still building at the moment of this video. So consider subscribing to the channel, but now let's go on the main subject. So let's just say you want a Fast and Furious car. You want to build yourself a Jetta, an Eclipse. So there's a lot of people sending me messages telling me, well, I found that Eclipse for sale for 1,200 bucks, or a Jetta, or I don't know, a cheap car. Because let's face it, there's a lot of, most of the people who wants to build replicas are young people. Sometimes people are asking me, where did you get that part? Where did you get the wheels for the Jetta? Where did you get the roll cage? Best advice I can give to you, don't go, and I don't want to sound rude, but don't go on, don't get in touch with someone who owns these cars to ask them information. If you really want to build a replica, if you really want to build a Fast and Furious car, you need to be ready to focus on what you need, and you need to do your own research. I don't want to sound rude by any mean, but sometimes you can ask some people what type of wheels or what type of body kit and whatnot, and you won't even get the right information. You need to know that when you're building a replica, you need to have good source. You need to be sure, you need to double check. Also, I don't want to break dreams today. One of the advice I give to people when they are asking me, well, I want to build a Fast and Furious replica. I found a car for like 1,200 bucks. Do you have a, and as soon as they are asking me, I found a car for 1,200 bucks, they are like, what's the body kit? What's the wheel? And then I return the question and I'm asking them, okay, but you want to build a replica to what level? Do you want to build a tribute car, which is a kind of look-alike car, but not really? Or do you want to build a full-on replica? 90% of the time, people are telling me, well, I want to build just like you, like a perfect replica with everything. I want to build a spec accurate car. And then I'm asking them, well, at the moment you're telling me this, would you be able to go inside a BMW dealership and pay cash for a 3 Series BMW? And 100% of the time their answer is no. So I'm like, well, maybe you won't be able to build a perfect replica right away. You need to be aware that building these cars requires a ton of money. And my best advice I can give to you, I'm always saying this, is go on for the parts first, then buy the car second. Because if you're buying the car first, you'll be in a rush to complete it and you won't be able to find everything. Or maybe you'll realize midway that maybe you should have gone for another car like a Ja Rule replica, Integra, or something else. Right now in 2021, building an Eclipse, building a spec accurate, screen accurate Mitsubishi Eclipse from the first movie is nearly impossible. Well, at least in a short period of time. Building my Eclipse took me, to get it to the level it took me 4 years. And honestly, I don't think it would be possible in 2021 to build a Fast and Furious Eclipse in less than 5 to 6 years, because so many people now are trying to replicate these cars. There's very few parts left to make your car screen accurate. So parts availability and a nice budget is the two most important things if you are building a replica, if you want to own a car like this. There's another option though. You can actually go and, well, if you have good connection, you can actually go on some auctions and stuff like that and buy a real one. And it won't be cheap. To a certain point though, it would be actually cheaper to get the actual movie car rather than building your own replica. Let me explain. These movie cars are usually, the value of these cars is equivalent to their importance in the movie. The Fast and Furious, the Hero Jetta, was, well, a lot of people think that the car was sold at Barrett-Jackson for $48,000 or $46,000, but in reality, the owner of the car at the time, which was Frankie Muniz, actually bought back the car from the auction because the car was actually for sale with no reserve, but the amount of money was way too low, so there was not a lot of interest in the car at that time. So he decided to buy the car back. So basically he had to pay auction fees and the premium of the value of the car and whatnot, but at least he kept the car. A few years after, he got in touch with me and he told me, would you buy the car? And at that point he wanted, I think, $60,000 for the car, which was not a lot of money by any means for the Hero 1 Jetta. So to build a replica of that car, the Jetta is a nice subject because I can actually tell you how much it costs to build a replica of the Jetta to a certain level versus the price of buying the real one. And you all know the Bring Back Jesse Jetta, the car I'm driving right now. The car is almost to the same level as the Hero 1 with the rear seat, the roll cage and everything. The only thing left to do to this car is the sound system. And so far, I'm down about $45,000 to $50,000 without the sound system, and I still need to do a lot of stuff to this car. So with that in mind, that means the Bring Back Jesse Jetta costed me as much as I would have paid for the Hero car. There's a difference though. Would you drive a Fast and Furious car on the street? That's the question. On my end, since I'm trying to build these cars as close to the original as possible, I know it's ironic because I'm actually driving the Jetta while I'm talking to you, but I do not drive this car on a regular basis. I'm too afraid of potholes, being involved in a crash or something like that because of other people on the road. So that's a thing. And also, would you drive the Hero cars on the road? Definitely not. In my case, I would not do that. Maybe to a parade or something like that, but I don't think I would be able or brave enough to drive these cars on the road by any means. Not the original one. So like I said, there's a few things that you need to know when you're considering owning a Fast and Furious car. They are super cool. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's super cool to drive these cars on the road. It was a bit different 5 years ago. A few years ago, people were not really appreciating these cars as they do today. I remember back in the day when I built the Eclipse for the first time in 2015, the word rice or rice rocket or stuff like that was still very common into people's mouth. But today I feel like in 2021 there's a lot of nostalgia going on, and there's a lot of people who really enjoy these tuner cars again on older 90s import cars like the Jetta, like a Civic, like a Mitsubishi Eclipse. So even if they're not from the Fast and the Furious, they do not have the livery on them and stuff like that, people are truly appreciating these cars. The number one thing that matters the most when you're considering owning a Fast and Furious car is money. You need to be aware that these cars, if you, for example, you want to build a screen accurate car starting from 1995 something, these cars are just not available anymore in great condition. So you need to consider restoring the car first and then applying the modification. It's a lot of money. And also just keeping these cars running, because they are old cars, it can be expensive. The maintenance on these cars, you need to be aware that, for example, this Jetta that I'm driving right now, This car is a 25-year-old car this year, and you need to be aware that maybe the engine will need to be redone at some point, the transmission, the clutch, but also the brake lines and stuff like that. So we are talking old cars nowadays. I remember when I was a kid, when I got my license, an old car was a 10-year-old car. My first car was an '89 Honda Civic back in 2000. So that car was an 11-year-old car, and for me, it was a very old car. So the Fast and Furious cars in general are 20, 25 years old. So that's just like if I was driving a 1975, yeah, it was just like driving a 1975 old Nova or whatever when I was a kid. So you need to be aware of that. These are not just import cars anymore. They are almost like classic cars that you need to restore and maintain and stuff like that. So in the end, it's really a matter of, do you want a show car? Do you want a car like, if you really want a Fast and Furious car, you need to treat that car as a show car. So that means you have another car, you have a daily driver, and you have that car. And you need to be aware that a show car, you don't drive that type of car more than maybe 1,000 miles a year. You need to maintain it, you need to baby it. This car, of course, a Fast and Furious car, you must not let that car outside for any reason. You can get the car vandalized, stuff like that. So you need to have a garage. If you live somewhere where you are experiencing winters, you need to have a storage place. There's a lot of fees related to that car, so you need to be aware of that. So I don't want to my goal today is not to break people's dreams of owning such a car. I mean, if you want like a tribute car, it's okay. You can just like, what was that noise? It sounded like somebody just got crashed. Anyway, I mean, if you want a tribute car, it's okay. Just take the cleanest, for example, take the cleanest Eclipse you can find and do a wrap the car green, and that's about it. But if you really want to go the extra mile, like some of the guys that I know who built Eclipses, like you know, people like top of my head, I remember there was Price's Eclipse, Kevin's Eclipse, even in Germany, Sasha. These guys, they went the extra mile doing amazing body work. Oh, there's Christopher also. This is by far my favorite Eclipse, aside from mine, out of all the cars, is Christopher's Strand's Eclipse. He lives in Norway, if my memory is good, and this car, every time he posts a picture of that car, I'm thinking it's mine. So he did a great job. But anyway, all these guys, they went the extra mile building these cars up to spec. They spent thousands of dollars, and they don't drive these cars. They don't drive, only to go to Cars and Coffees and car shows and stuff like that. So these cars are like spec accurate, screen accurate replicas. And there's other people with tribute cars. There's a guy, I don't remember his name, but there's a guy who's got a very clean Eclipse. The car is green, but it's a wrap, but it looks good. And a car like that, you can actually drive it on the road. He does not have the Axis 7 wheels. He drives on Motegi F7 wheels, and they are okay. I mean, these wheels, you can replace them if you break one in a puddle or something like that. So that's what a tribute car is meant for. If you want to pay tribute to the movies, but you want to drive the car, you build a tribute car. And if you want a screen accurate, if you want a screen accurate or spec accurate car, don't drive it on the road. These cars are show cars, and if you break something, if you get involved in a crash, a fender bender, you will regret it at some point. So you need to be aware of that. So in conclusion, owning a Fast and Furious car, I mean, it's super fun. Don't get me wrong. You get all the attention. It can take great photos. There's even like great business opportunities owning these cars. And I want to talk about this last part because a lot of people don't realize what you can do with these cars. One of the fun part of owning these cars, especially me with the Bring Back Jesse Jetta, we do a lot of conventions. So a good screen accurate, spec accurate car can be a great business opportunity because you can go to conventions and stuff like that and actually rent the car to these events. In the case of the Bring Back Jesse Jetta, I can actually have an income from owning this car just with convention, with Chad Lindbergh and stuff like that. There's a lot of people who wants to see the car with Jesse and everything, so it's super fun. Can I do that? Would I be able to do a living out of this? Not really, but a gig here and there with conventions and stuff like that, it's kind of fun. But let's face it, with the COVID situation right now, it's gonna be difficult to do conventions again, well, at least for the next year or so. In the States there's already car shows and stuff like that, but here in Canada, I mean, it's not the best for car shows or people doing events and stuff like that. It's really not that great. So I'm lucky to have another job that I can do during these tough time. But definitely, if you are spending a lot of money in your replica, in your Fast and Furious car, you can get a great business opportunity out of it. That's one thing to consider. With that said, this will wrap up the video for today. It was a different kind of videos, but there's a lot of people who want me to do more like informative videos with these cars, so that's what I really wanted to do. I had to take the Jetta out for a spin today, so I thought it would be great to just film a video while driving the car. If you want to know more about these cars, let me know in the comment section down below what you'd like to see, whether it's about the Jetta or more information regarding how to build your own car and stuff like that. Let me know. I'm always open to new ideas. I love driving these cars around, especially now it's summertime once again, and I'm able to drive my cars, which I can do only like 6 months per year because the other 6 months the car is in storage and whatnot. So oh, they destroyed that building. That's interesting. Anyway, so guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing. It helps a lot. It only takes like a few seconds, and I see you in the next one, I guess. Have a great day. Bye.